Welcome to Clicks and Coffee. I'm Alexander, and here we dive deep into the journeys of entrepreneurs and marketing innovators. Each episode, we uncover the challenges, triumphs, and unique strategies of our amazing guests, giving you valuable insights and inspiration. Our goal is to build a community of growth-oriented professionals ready to learn, collaborate, and thrive in the ever-evolving world of digital marketing. So whether you're here for the latest trends or looking for that next big idea, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. And today we've got Sarah Jenkins, the CEO of Kartra and Webinar JAM, joining us. If you are a content creator, coach, consultant, and everything in between, you will want to listen to this episode, as Sarah has been developing one of the best digital marketing and webinar software to help you create, engage, and scale your business. Sarah, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. What an introduction. I feel so humbled.
I have to be objective. Now that I've said what I've said, can you tell us a little bit about your career journey and how you got to where you are today?
So, you want to go way back to I was born in, 85, or I started marketing at 19?
No, just about the marketing and like the story of the company and how it got started and how you got to where you are today with the company.
Well, it's a little funny because when I was born and raised in a very, very strict Christian home, some of the beliefs that were taught that I was going to seminars for are now considered a cult. I didn't consider them a cult. They were just very, very strict at the time. And then we were raised in an Amway meeting as well. So every other weekend or every month, we'd go to a convention for Amway in, Michigan or Toronto or Hamilton, wherever. And I was around millionaires backstage with my parents. And so I was raised in a way that gave me unique insight into human behavior and what motivates people, what gets them, in the religious sense, what gets them to do the right thing for their lives and their families, or in the business sense, what gets them motivated to move forward the product or what's best for their client, right? So I started with that very, very young. And then when I was 15, my mom's like, what do you even want to do with your life? Goes in trouble all the time for probably a poor attitude. I was like, I want to own a company. And mom's like, oh, okay. And she let me get a job at 15 at a little boutique where we served old ladies their coffee and what size dress are you? Do like purple and I'll bring it to you. And I was like 15 doing all these sales. So I'm surrounded by marketing from the very, very beginning, and I love it. It always motivated me to want to give a solution to a problem, which is the key of marketing, right? So then when I was 19, I moved to California and met my first husband, and we started fitness business, and we developed the #1 website in Southern California for fitness, which was unheard of at the time. Like, we didn't know anything about SEO, but we started learning. We started joining masterminds and ordering the products, and like anyone that's offering consulting, someone like me is looking for you. They're looking to further their own goals. So then when I did fitness marketing, we became very successful at that and taught then SEO to fitness owners. So we stopped teaching personal training and started teaching fitness owners how to scale their SEO and their website. And then we split, and I got together with my husband, Andy Jenkins, who's a marketing just genius. But one of the things he was doing was he did the Video Boss, teaching the importance of video. So every time throughout my whole life, I'm seeing the problems people are faced and then the solutions that are handed to them. It was fantastic learning. But we had a thing where the video we were going to do for Video Boss was $100,000 to stream 8 hours of live interviews with Andy and another buddy expert. Like, Andy, Frank, Eben, Ryan Dice, all those people did interviews live on camera. It cost us a fortune in hosting. So we decided to talk to a couple people about doing more launches for our internet marketing business, teaching SEO and teaching how to get an email and all that. But we decided to make a product of it. Like, hey, if we need all this video for hosting, we're paying for it. How can we then sort of lease out the hosting that we're paying for to a mass amount of people and make it affordable? So that's the very, very, very beginning of Webinar Jam, which I'm overly proud of.
That's pretty impressive. And so can you tell us a little bit more about the two software, or maybe just Webinar to start and then Kartra after?
Well, they naturally come about when you look at the problems and the solution. So their problem was we need video to sufficiently market. If you look on Amazon, the #1 product's going to have a video. You look on Instagram or Facebook has now changed from a news feed like a newspaper until video reels. Instagram is only like videos. So you've seen the way video highlights all over the
And
internet. And so
TikTok.
we're like, that's right. TikTok is pure video, which I don't understand at all, but I do love video. So get them. But then we did EverWebinar was the next release of Webinar Jam, which is a recorded webinar. So you put all of this. Andy is a fiend for this. He'll do an hour of content. He'll provide tons of information with specific links to get this Bluetooth headphone over here. That's the best. And then obviously that's going to go out of style. But if you just edit that one piece of your whole consulting product, this is the next video, and you just put in the next video, your ever growing sales video is going to work all the time. So EverWebinars, when you do a webinar discussing or teaching one aspect of your business, it's evergreen and it can always be live. Every 5 minutes, it could be a webinar if you want. Somebody wants interested in more, click here. We're going live in 5 minutes. And so they can join a webinar. If you have it on replay every 5 minutes, anyone that lands on your site can then click and go to it, which is, again, like just genius marketing, thinking ahead of time. And then with that, we're like, shoot, we're selling Webinar Jam and all of its wonderful features. We need a landing page. We need an email list. We need opt-in forms. So we started creating Kartra. All those things that we need to sell Webinar Jam, now we'll provide for you in Kartra. So you don't have to log into 9 places where anytime something is uploaded or fixed or whatever, you don't have to go and reload it and fix the little key on the back end, because what a pain.
Yes, yes, and no, I totally agree with you. That like a big problem, I would say, it's good and at the same time bad, which is all those new software coming up, because all of them, solve a problem, but then you end up with like, a whole portfolio, I would say, of software to use. Oh, no. To update this, you have to go on this platform. Oh, no. To do the quote, you have to go on this platform. To do this, you have to go on this platform. So I think that's a great idea to really have like a specific, I would say, niche in a software and really help people to go from A to Z with what they need. So that's pretty crazy. And so Kartra was, came after Webinar Jam. And so do you see people, subscribing for Kartra first and then Webinar Jam, or it's always Webinar and then Kartra?
Well, a lot of people don't know that Genesis Digital owns both. A lot of people will find Webinar Jam because it's one of the top 10 video softwares in the world. It's been out since, GoToMeeting was the really only one you could find. Then the Webinar Jam was here. So the brand awareness since 2013, is, proficient. So a lot of people know Webinar Jam if they've used it. Either they didn't like it or they love it and they're still on the platform, which is great. And then as they discover Kartra, if it's the kind of software that works for them that they want, then I've gotten messages, which is my favorite thing, of all the problems in my Facebook message and all the texts of the problems. But then I get the same amount of, this is awesome. It's changed my life. This is how I've used Kartra. And now I'm going from my $1 an hour job to, my 20 grand a month or whatever. I get those messages all the time, which make me know that it does work. And I'm very proud of it.
No, but it's funny you're talking about that, because that was literally my question after that, was like, do you have a story you want to share about somebody that, starting using your product and like completely changed their life in a very meaningful way, maybe in a way that we all know about that person?
Oh, I'm not sure. This person works with a lot of incredibly popular, wonderful people. Like they're doing a health seminar. I'm just trying to pull up the name. I was messaging him the other week. Okay. Raghav Mundra, RAGHAV did a whole thing about health and wellness that had, John Assaraf, Deepak Chopra, all these really famous, incredibly healthy storytelling people. And that's who he developed something for using Kartra. And it changed his life. And I was so happy. I was like, good job, dude. Well done.
That's that's the whole point of making those softwares, it's like to have those, especially softwares where it's for people that usually have, typically a one-person business or like a small business. So that's always amazing story to hear, because we all know that the US, the US is entrepreneurs of less than 10 people companies. I think that's like 90% of the all of the business in the US, which is pretty mind-boggling when you think about it. And so I know for you it's great because it means you have a lot of potential clients.
Well, but it's
So
also great because if you have your company that's 10 people or less, that's probably the most efficient way to do it. You're in charge of copy, you're in charge of landing some pages, I'm in charge of coming up with some ideas or some videos to do. Like having it smaller is much more financially efficient. And then your team is tighter and closer. I think smaller is great.
and can you tell us a little bit about the growth of your company? How you started and where you are today as far as like company size.
Oh man. We started Webinar Jam with probably 15 people, maybe. But when you do software, a little chunk of your people are, off usually in another country. They're better developers than the US, or they're more affordable, or they're easier to find, that kind of thing. So we've got developers in India, in South America, and Romania, which is
Okay.
great. A little different time zones, but then you only have to talk to them, and they only have to talk to you like once a day while they're all working their butts off. It's awesome. But now we've at 200, 150.
Oh wow, that's big growth.
It's big growth, but Kartra came out with the starter thing that was after Webinar Jam was like 15 people, then it became like 20. Now Kartra is becoming 30, 40 because customer service, development, accounting, all that corporate stuff that everybody needs. And as you grow, it has to be a little bit more managed. One accountant can't handle 20,000 clients, rebills, and all that stuff. It's just not possible. So
No.
they've had to hire fewer people. But yeah, now we're at 150 all over the world.
That's pretty exciting. And then what you mentioned something that kind of popped up as I was doing my research on you, is that a lot of people what they like is the customer service on in Kartra, because and that's the big issue in a lot of companies, is that people want to really cut cost as much as possible on the customer service, which ends up talking to a bot for 30 minutes until we can talk to somebody. And somebody was talking about an interaction with your company that they had an issue with the software or a problem to solve or whatever, and they got like a email back with a screencast and very detailed response and everything. So that is, I think, a pretty good thing. So how do you I would say, work on customer satisfaction and customer service for your company?
It's always changing. If we notice that the customers we have the ratings review, the nice reply, you can say, hey, do you like customer service or not? So we'll hear about the positives, we'll hear about the negatives. If there's positive, like super green, I'll go look at those and see what we're doing really well. Like, especially when we weren't 150, when we were closer to 100, I knew every single employee, what they did, how they felt. Like I had my one-on-ones. And then for me, the most part of running a company is the human behavior. What makes them happy? How did they do? We're not going to criticize. We're going to say, okay, this isn't ideal. What could we have done maybe better? What do you think the customer really needed? To feel heard, but then also what was their problem? Do we have a solution? Don't just pass them on, right? So we've had ups and downs with customer service depending on who we hire, how it goes, how they feel customer service should be done. And then they get sort of retrained or thought, hey, this is what we want you to show the customer as caring and listening to their problems. So we did that for a while, and the extremely bad ones too. It's really one of the only conversations I've had with one of my staff that I was like, I do not yell and I do not criticize unless I absolutely have to. But what were you thinking? Like, what is this? If someone said this to you, how mad would you be? And he's like, well, I wouldn't be thrilled. It's like, right, you want to make the customer thrilled. If you wouldn't be happy to hear this, don't say it. I say, anytime you send a customer service email, if it's going to go on a billboard in Vegas on the strip, what you said to the customer, you don't want it there, don't type it. Don't send. Or type and delete. Feel better.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. The type and delete. Do not type enter. But yeah, okay, no, that's pretty interesting, because those type of software where I'm sure it's hard to get new clients because it's a big commitment for anybody, because it's literally like a central part of their business. But then after, you get very sticky, and what you want is as much referral, I would imagine, as possible from users that tell their friends, hey, I started my business. Or I'm sure all of the consultants, coach are all in groups and everything. So I'm sure that having a great customer service today is going to be one of the most important features. So, personal story, we're having an issue with PayPal, and we cannot get somebody to talk to us on PayPal. Can't. It's like incredible how there is just bots responding, and then we'll get back to you. And then it's been a week that we're waiting for an email and nothing. So it's pretty crazy when
Monopoly,
you think
though.
about that. Huh?
How many merchant accounts is there? They have a monopoly. So they have all these clients that want an answer from them, and they want to keep their staff
Yeah.
budgeted. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like they have
So,
the monopoly. It's like Google doesn't have good customer service either with their, back end ad systems and stuff. You can't get someone on the phone.
yeah, that's true too. Unless we get the ads consultant. Click yes wherever Google says yes. Please click yes. Spend more money. Yeah, no, this is how you solve your issue.
And it kind of does, but yeah, I don't want to be pushed into it.
No, but yeah, but to me, customer service is really one of the thing that I always enjoy, having people that care about that, I would say. And so, we're talking about growing the business. So a lot of companies, private equity back, don't really care if they make money, don't really care if they get profitable, just growth, growth, growth. And then now in the software is really what a lot of companies are trying to get into in every kind of possible way. So how do you manage to cut through the noise with your software, and how do you grow your business? How do you, like, what levers do you have to grow your business?
Well, the number one thing I think that is the most effective is probably referrals and testimonials. And if you're cutting through all the noise of all the other competitors out there, don't worry about them. You really should be focusing on who's done really well in your product, that wants to talk about it, that would be mutually beneficial for you to talk about them. So it's like a testimonial trade. Like, hey, I will feature you on the website. You tell us how the product has really helped you change your business, whatever, even in the littlest ways that are specific to other people's problems. You can show that Kartra or Webinar JAM has the solution, and then we'll feature you and your link to your website and the great things that you're doing in your own company. So it's a mutual testimonial, and then you can take that and highlight it, put it in your ad spend, put it in your news feeds, put it on your socials, and you can mutually benefit each other by highlighting those testimonial reasons in your own product that worked for that individual.
So you're very close to all of your to your best customers, that you can use, and that you can beneficially that you can mutually benefit from each other of using, and things like that. Okay, now that's pretty interesting. And do you do that on like I would say like a recurring basis, but a lot, like every month? Yeah, that's really one of
Oh,
the big thing that you guys are working on.
we record meetings interviewing our best clients all the time to see if there's something that we can use that would benefit them as well. If it's something that we're especially struggling with, maybe a new launch, a new release, or a bug that had been sitting there for 3 weeks too long, then we can showcase where it was repaired and it's going to be fixed. And software has always got some little hink in it. It just does.
So it's even more than just asking people, hey, let me feature you. Is really like a back and forth of how do we make it better? How can we fix this issue that you're not happy with this? Let us fix it. So it's all the time. And do you have a team dedicated for that, or is that something that is close
Oh,
to your
we
heart? And
both. So we've written both. When we've got a couple of people that are just community experience experts that go out and make sure that the clients do feel heard, or they get, sent a gift or something from us, like they make sure that we're aware of them. I think the most important thing that I've learned growing up and still is human behavior. It's the importance of people. AI is going to help your business a ton. However, it's not going to nanny my children. It's not going to drive my groceries to my house if I'm busy in meetings. Like there's some things that can't be replaced yet. I'm sure the driving will be replaced eventually, but I value in my house staff too. I've got 5 employees that I've kept for years. Nobody quits because I'm like, hey, how are you? Okay, great. I'm doing well. How's your kids? Is that okay? Do you need a day off? Like, do you want to come in late tomorrow? Like, we are very mutually beneficial, and it's a great relationship in the couple companies that I do have.
And that's pretty nice. Not a common practice, I would say, in a lot of fast growing businesses.
Unfortunately, I think that's
Yeah, no,
wrong.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you that the point is, how can we make our each and everyone's day as pleasant as possible? It's not going to be pretty and beautiful every day, but how can we make the best out of every situation, and how can we make the best out of the work atmosphere and things like that. So it's funny because everything you're saying is like you're kind of like one answer ahead of my questions.
Well, I don't know
Because
what you were going to ask me, but
I
this
know,
is
I
what
know,
I
but it's very
do.
interesting to see that we're very synced in the very synced in like the ideas, and because one of my questions I like to ask is how do you foster a positive and productive team culture, which is exactly what you just talked about, which is really nice, and it's that how I think great companies are built, is making sure that people are happy and people feel they are part of something, bigger than us. So it's always exciting. And so, talking about the future, do you have any upcoming projects or any upcoming feature that you're very excited about and that you think will have a big impact on the business? So, unless you're not allowed to talk about it yet, I don't want to
Oh,
put any.
I dare anyone to give me rules. However, we're doing Project Phoenix has come out, and we've launched it to a couple beta clients who wanted to test it. When you do like a beta, say, hey, can you go ahead and break this for me and tell me where we've failed, or we do a little test, but we're not doing tests with 200 people at once. So we've got a beta of something called Phoenix that's coming out in Kartra that is supposed to be very, very helpful in integrating the AI with your Kartra launch. So you don't have to go and type every freaking paragraph. You can have AI write the paragraph and you edit it. It can do a lot of the work for you. Build me a funnel on launching this book on ballerinas, something like that. So we're doing an AI launch that's supposed to be very hands off for you as a business owner, more and more, as much as possible.
Wow, that's going to be cool. And that's a great way to use AI. At least I know that I'm always trying to tell people, do not use it to do everything, but use it to guide you. And so I think that's going to be a great thing. And so what is your view on AI, especially in the software, where we kind of know that a lot of people now are really relying on AI to help code and to help with a lot of things. And we've seen it with Amazon, where they were using ChatGPT, and then they had to have like the legal department email the developers, say like, please stop adding your code to ChatGPT. This is proprietary. So how do you guys, work with AI at Genesis, and how do you see it?
I think it's in its beginning stages. So if we try to get ahead of ourselves, sort of like, the VR headset that PlayStation first came out with the giant battery pack and the huge wires, super fun, but it couldn't get it adapted because little kids can't put on a giant headset with batteries and wires. And then there's a couple games that are good and a couple that are not. There's not a bunch of games to choose from. So I think AI is in its beginning stages. I think we're just beginning to understand it. So if you're trying to implement it in your software or your business, just go easy on it. Like, say, I'm going to use this, I'm going to edit something I've written, or I'm going to ask it to start the paragraphs for me, but it's always going to take a human helping hand, at least for now. Like, remember when Whole Foods had that you walk out of the store or the Amazon store and it just checks you out automatically? And then we found out that it wasn't sensors and electronics, it's people sitting there going, that's a book, to add to cart. That's it, like humans doing it instead of it's
that
not
was the
AI. Like,
that was honestly the funniest story about,
so good.
oh my god. And Amazon, that's out of all the companies you would have imagined that they would not do that. Yes. Amazon. So that
I don't think they thought they'd be caught, because I think if you said this is AI and it looks amazing, you've got all the publicity. But now that it's amazing and then it wasn't, is they have more publicity because it's really funny.
but didn't they close all the stores for that?
I
I
think they
think they did.
probably did. I didn't
Or
keep up
most
with it.
of the stores.
I
Yeah.
don't go shopping and have it automatically bill me. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. But no, that I agree with. For now, that's kind of how I, like to use it and have the team use it as well, is really to help with ideas and structure. But apart from that, I think we should keep for now because the thing is, like, if you interact with AI a lot, then when a paragraph has been written with AI. And like the funny thing is, like, that happened to me a couple of times where I like full email I received and I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy like clearly used the entire thing only AI. But it was not even like a cold outreach, it was a response to a message that I
Ooh.
sent. That was kind of weird, but
Some of
it
those,
happens.
if it's chat AI in your product, I think it's okay that people know that it's AI trying to answer your problem for you or your question. But when it gets to it's trying to be fake, I did the same thing. I got an email from, it was a cold email, but it was so personal that I was like, what in the world is happening? Like, this is very creepy. It was like, hi, Sarah, we see you're very interested in Legos, and we thought you might be interested in also building this area of your business. And I was like, where in the world does it say I'm into I am into Legos, but it's a secret.
I guess it's a secret that you wrote somewhere.
I mean, the background of most of my home videos is probably Legos that my kids built.
Okay, you're helping a lot.
Right, have to help.
Exactly. All right. And so since you're pretty much in, I would say, the crossing between digital marketing and software solution, because it's really about like enabling people with marketing and sales. I would like to get your opinion on what is getting you excited in the world of digital marketing, and what is worrying you in the world of digital marketing.
I think exciting is finding something. We can even use Webinar Jam as a good example. If you're doing a video webinar on the internet, you need to find a camera, hosting, write your script out or your questions out, right? Like, it takes 3 or 4 people to get one freaking thing done. But if you've got some AI help, or you've got the Webinar Jam, you click start the recording and it's got places you put your links. They can click to buy, a chat block for any negative in the forums that you don't want showing up, like spammers and stuff. It's got all that integrated already. So you don't have to have, where we had to have 10 moderators for our bossathon. Now you don't have to have any. You can have one person looking at comments and go block negative, and then any swears are automatically blocked. Like, we have that in our software. So we've taken away some hiring of a bunch of people to get one big project done. It's already done. You just click start, go, video. Here's what I'm going to talk about today. So I think that's exciting. But I think what's a little freaky is the AI thing, where it goes a little bit too far. If it's like, hey, Sarah, we know you love Lego, so buy this big Lego set here. We saw this is the newest thing coming out, and I believe them and then buy it, and then it never comes, and I get scammed out of money. All the weird things AI can do is going to just be very careful. I got a couple examples. I've gotten some texts saying, we need you to log into your PayPal to confirm your Bitcoin purchase. And I'm like, no. And then I don't want to click on the text either. And it's personally text based on things that I buy, right? And I had 2 times I was talking to a couple very famous speakers in internet marketing worlds on TikTok or Instagram, like just talking to them about their wife. I just saw them last weekend, whatever. And the conversation was flowing naturally. And it was a fake person who duplicated their Instagram. So it looks like you're talking to your buddy, but you're not. It was very weird and very wisely done, that I was like, I realized when I start pushing for, what are you doing Thursday? And they're like, what country are you in? I'm like, no. You just broke the loop because you're my neighbor. I'm talking to my neighbor.
Oh my God. And talking about that, and I agree. And I think it's less AI, more the people using it. But and you just made me think about something about your company. Do you think, because we know that now you can rent your face. Like if you're an influencer, you can rent your face and people can use AI. So brands can use, like, I'm renting your face, famous TikToker or whatever, and I can basically rent or license your face to make ads. So you don't even have to make the ads as an influencer. I can just scan your face and then use your face to make ads based on you, and then, you know, see which one is working, do A/B testing basically between two ads. So instead of having somebody record 10 ads, you have AI do ads. So I was thinking, even, do you think that in webinars, people are going to be able to have something like that? Or have you ever thought about offering something like that, where you could do basically two webinars at the same time, but on two different topics, one with the real person and one with the AI person?
Well, part of that you can do with EverWebinar. You can have an EverWebinar topic talking about your ads on Instagram and YouTube, and you can have another webinar at the same time, an EverWebinar talking about landings on your lead page. So like, we already have that, but we also have where people have taken clips of somebody's webinar and then posted it as them being them. We've had that a couple times. So we've had to go and answer, I think it's a DMCA, where we go and say, this is my content. They're using it without my permission. I think the AI laws will have to catch up with that kind of behavior. Like if you're licensing your image or my image, I've heard my voice cloned, very scary. But I think the laws haven't given me the freedom to disallow that or to find it faster. And the internet's still the Wild West. And I think it's kind of fun and kind of scary.
Yeah, but we had the issue with shoot, what was that actress? Oh my goodness, I'm like totally blanking out. And she's super famous. But anyways, it said there was an AI that used her voice without her permission.
If you're an
But like
actor or an
publicly.
actress, do I mean, you're an actor, you're portraying somebody else. Your job is to act, like be someone that you're not, right? So if you're going to lend your voice, your face to some other product like Nike or whatever, then do you want to have control of what they do, that if they send you a paycheck and you do believe in the product, or you don't really care what they use your voice to say? I think that's a specific contract agreement, like Hollywood does. We'll use you here and here. You look like this. You're going to say this or something in these ranges. And you can
Yeah,
say, I
yeah.
don't want this. Like when you disallow an ad, I don't want an ad to show up for, if I'm doing webinars and video software, anybody that searches kitty cat yarn, I do not want to show up in that ad. I don't want to pay for that ad. Click. So you can say disallow this many things. I think the disallow is going to have to be
Yeah,
low.
yeah, for sure. And that's an interesting point of that. But it was that was the name. It was Scarlett Johansson. And it's hard to blank on that. But yeah, but they were using her voice without telling it was her. It was like just using the voice, not mentioning. But of course, everybody, knew they were using her voice, which was a little scary. But yeah, I do agree with that. But that's exciting and scary at the same time. And especially you, that you're really into all of that. So I think your business is going to grow in a very interesting way. And I'm really looking forward to see how things pan out with all that technology and video that everybody loves. That I agree 100%. And we know in with our clients that a video ad always works better than a static ad. So it is very rare case that is the opposite, but usually people like to see videos. So
I
100%
mean,
agree with you.
every learning learns differently. Some people learn from watching, some people learn from doing, some people learn from reading. But when I have a list of somebody's like, this is me and these are all my credentials, I read two or three and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I can't read that many. It's too many. I'd rather they
Video.
tell me and I can remember all of them.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I'm super excited. It was a great pleasure having you on the podcast. We'll put the links for all of your software solutions in the description, and I'm really looking forward. Really looking forward to seeing how everything pans out, and for the new features and how people enjoy. I would say the ease of using Kartra and the new features. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and hopefully maybe next year we can talk again and see where what's happening now with AI and video.
We could totally do an annual. Thank you so much for having me, Alex.